So things are starting to get very interesting because now millions and millions of Americans are reliant on their income tax returns in order to just get by. This means that many can't keep up with their house payments, their car payments, even credit cards and utilities, not to mention to put food on the table and keep clothes on their back. Things are starting to get really rough for millions of people. I want to explain what's going on, what recent surveys are now telling us, and what we are likely to see in the very near future. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and how you will likely be impacted. But first, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. It's crazy to think that right now, after we have seen wages continue to go up, we've seen the economy really shift, the stock market shot up, home prices through the roof, but yet millions and millions of Americans are struggling. Just look at this. It says 2/3 of consumers say they need their next paycheck to pay bills. Well, guess what? It doesn't stop there. Look at this right here. This is a survey. This was done by Trustpilot. It says U.S. taxpayers admit tax refunds are a financial necessity as the cost of living crisis continues. What you need to understand in this report, okay, it is very interesting. But there's two main things that I took away from this report. Number one, 40% of taxpayers are counting on their tax refunds for this year just to pay for essentials. That means to pay for food. That means to pay for their housing, whether it's a rent or mortgage, to pay for utilities. That is it. Just the necessities. Not even other things like entertainment. Doesn't include that. Your utilities, you think that includes internet? It doesn't. Got to pay for internet. Yeah. Oh, you want to do something on the weekend? You want to go and have fun? Well, sorry, you can't do that because you don't have any money. And like this one said right here, 2/3 of consumers need their next paycheck just to pay their bills. This doesn't put them ahead. This doesn't mean they can put money into savings. They're not going and buying Bitcoin or Shiba, not buying Dogecoin or Trump coin. They're not doing that. But guess what? Here's a scary fact. 22% of Americans plan to use their tax refunds to pay off debt. Here's the reason why that's scary. That means 78% of Americans need their money for something else. Only 22% are going to use it to pay off or pay down debt. That's troubling, especially when credit card debt is the highest we have ever seen. Right? It's over $1 trillion. Just household debt alone is the highest we have ever seen. The American people are getting maxed out. Just the other day, I received an email. Somebody was saying, I mentioned multiple times that, I'll buy and sell things, whether it's, cars, furniture, jewelry, just different things, right? But somebody sent me a message trying to sell me a very high-end luxury watch. I don't know if it was real, being that I'm not going to do a deal over the internet like that. I turned it down. But they're willing to offer me what the watch was worth. I was going to get about a 60% discount on that watch. Okay? I turned it down. But that's what's happening. You look all over Craigslist. You look all over Facebook Marketplace. You see people selling their tools. Construction workers getting rid of tools because they don't have enough work, but they need the money. So they're going to sell their tools so they can pay for their rent, their car payments, put food on the table. That's what we're seeing. We saw that back in 2008 as well. Here's something interesting though. College students are selling things like computers. Yeah, that's a big one. When a college student is selling their computer or a phone, they're in trouble. And this is what we're seeing right now. If you live in or around a college town, you may be experiencing this. where college students are selling things that they need and that they use on a daily basis because that might be their last resort. But I want to show you something else. Look at this right here. It says banks are feeling the strain as lower income consumers struggle with inflation and tariff chaos. This is what we've learned. Lower income Americans are the ones that are going to get hit first. It doesn't mean they are the only ones that will feel the pain, but they will feel it first. It's always the lower income households. They will feel the pain. But, and again, this is why I'm bringing this to your attention. Right now, millions and millions of Americans are hoping for their next paycheck to get by. But many are relying on their tax refunds just to be able to make rent. Let me show you something else as well. This says Dollar General stalls as its customers struggle financially. What we know is that the core customer for Dollar General is people that make under $40,000 per year. Those are normally the people that are not net taxpayers, meaning they usually get a refund back at the end of the year or this time of the year, which is great. But I want to show you something. Okay, look at this right here. It says why many Americans are seeing bigger tax refunds this year. It says refunds have averaged $3,324 in the 6 weeks so far this year. Okay. That article was actually from 2 days ago, or actually 3 days ago. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is simple. What would $3,000 do for you? Okay, or $3,300? Listen to this. The biggest reason why this we're seeing an increase, because last year, I'll just show you this really quick. Last year, at this time, the refunds were averaging about $3,145. Now they're up about $180. Okay, $180 increase. Why? Well, the biggest reason for this is because there's an increase to the standard deduction. The government raised it by, I think it was $750 for single individuals or individuals, $1,500 for joint filers, and I believe it was $1,100 for a head of household. That was one change. There was also an increase, the kind of adjustments to tax brackets. Those changed, obviously, to deal with inflation as well. So those are the changes. But if you are relying on your tax refund just to get by, there's a problem there. And that's what banks are now noticing. That all these people that are doing okay, they may be behind on some payments, they may be behind 30, 60, 90 days is the real concern. But when those people are 30 days behind and then they get caught up, they're able to make a car payment, great. They're able to pay off their, or not pay off, but make a credit card payment. Awesome, right? That's great. But here's the concern. And this is what we saw in 2008 as well. We said, and again, I know a lot of people, a lot of people that are watching, what happened in 2008. For those of you that don't, maybe you're a little bit younger, there's issues. There's a great financial crisis, right? The housing market collapsed. Banks went under. Okay, major banks went under. I remember I was invested in Washington Mutual. Yeah, wasn't great. Went under. Okay, but here's the thing. We saw this back in 2008, but now the banks are looking at this and realizing we are in a world of hurt. We are holding all the risk because when consumers can't make their mortgage, guess what happens? They stop paying their mortgage, right? They just stop paying it. Still live in the house, rent free, you're mortgage free. You're not going to make any payments. You're already hurting your credit. No big deal there, right? You're screwed. And so eventually the bank's going to come foreclose on the house and they'll kick the people out and they'll try to sell it at an auction or whatever. And so all the risk is on the bank. Same thing with car loans. Can't pay off your car. Well, somebody comes and repossesses it. And they repossess your car and they send it to an auction, try to get what you are still, what they're still owed out of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, the banks are the ones that are running the risk here. And so this is why I bring this to your attention. if we are seeing so many Americans struggling, why does it still look like the economy's booming? Right? Why does everyone say that the economy is going great? It's not. We are seeing multiple signs of trouble, but you need to be aware of this. Now, I'm not going to go over all the different signs that we're seeing right now. I talk about that here on this channel every single day. Just go and watch my last video, or the 2 videos ago, 3 videos, 4, 5, 6 videos ago. It's the same thing. We are seeing trouble right now in the U.S. economy. So I just want to leave you with that. But I want you to understand right now that millions of Americans need their next paycheck just to get by. Okay, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Not only that, many are living paycheck to paycheck, and on top of that, they need an income tax return this year in order to just pay their bills. That's how bad things are right now. So I will leave you with that, but that's what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.